Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, filling up the overflow room very, very gradually. We're still on the letter Z. We just finished Zemlinsky, but we're making our way through these boxes here. Let me show you the box. It's like right there. There's the box full of stuff. We've got a couple of them here, and we're going to empty them out. And in the process, we're going to review what's actually here in the overflow room, because over the years, I've probably forgotten a lot of it, a lot of what I stored down here. Hopefully I haven't forgotten the music. And you might find it an interesting experience too, to dig around one of these crazy collections. And this is a crazy collection, it really is. So we're in the letter Z, and we are down to, because we're going in reverse alphabetical order, or up to, Zelenka! Yay, Zelenka! Now, I've been talking a lot about Zelenka recently, and I'm going to talk about him a lot more. Why is Zelenka so fascinating? Well, because nobody knew who he was, literally, until the 80s. I mean, it's really kind of amazing. His dates were, 1679 to 1745. He had a career in which he wrote almost entirely sacred music, Catholic sacred music for the court of Dresden. His life is virtually unknown. He never married. He had, there's rumors about things, but essentially his music is so personal. For me, I don't know. There are a lot of times, I don't know if you feel the way I do about this, but when you first encounter Baroque music, so much of it sounds the same. But of course, that's only on the surface, right? Because it's a style, it's a particular style, a very well-defined style in some respects. But, the better you get to know individual composers, the more individual they sound. But it takes a little effort. You have to dig into it before the differences begin to register. With Zelenka, they hit you like a slap in the face. He doesn't sound like anybody else. He has a very, very distinctive style. And that style, as I've said elsewhere, is characterized by a lot of syncopated rhythms, the influence perhaps of Czech folk music, the constant oscillation between major and minor keys, the use of strange phrase lengths. In other words, the music never goes where you think it's going to, and the musical melodies don't end where you think they're supposed to. It's fascinating stuff. I mean, this whole thing becomes a brilliant mixture, a personal voice. And of course, this element of virtuosity too. I mean, his music's very difficult, and it sounds it. It has a certain flash to it. It's very appealing. Even if he's writing, simple liturgical pieces, they all sound kind of like special in some ways, or many of them do. Let's put it that way. Not everything. And it's only been in the past decade or two that the richness of his legacy, there are 20 some odd masses or something like that, they've all started to get recorded. And I have some of it here in the overflow room. I have a lot of it in the regular collection. And I do want to talk about most of it because it's a legacy that deserves to be promoted. It really does. Now, of course, I got a comment from somebody who said, whose moniker was like Zelenka. It's like everything he wrote was a masterpiece. Yeah, come on. We don't have to say that. And we don't have to believe that in order to feel that everything that he did, or most of the things he did, were distinctive. Whether they're masterpieces or not, I mean, what does that mean, right? But it was distinctive and worth listening to. So here we are with the Z's, and we have a lot of Z's here. I have his Requiem and Miserere, the Requiem in D minor. There are two Requiems. One of them is in C minor, one of them is in D minor. The C minor is rather austere. The D minor is kind of lavish, and that's this one. And his Miserere in C minor, which is Psalm 50. These are really cool, absolutely cool. This is super fun. Then we've got his Psalms. Here are the Psalms, a bunch of these. That's the Miserere again. And the Laetatus Sum and Memento Domine. So there's those. And we have a cat climbing up the empty shelves over there. That's Finster. Finster, what are you doing? Okay. We have his Magnificat and his All Saints Litany. The litanies are marvelous. These are late works, and they're just fabulous. And his Psalm 129, the De Profundis, he was very good at like creepy psalms. Hello, how you doing? This is Finster over here. There she goes. You can see her in the back. Let's see. Sacred Music by Zelenka on Hyperion, a whole selection of goodies. I mean, I just collected these things. And the wonderful, the trio sonatas. There's 6 of them. 6 of them for 2 oboes and bassoon, although one of them has a violin. They are insanely virtuosic, enormously fun bits of Baroque chamber music. Absolutely brilliant. This is with Ensemble Zefiro on Astray. And, wait a minute. There we go, you see? We're having a little visitation. So, one of you mentioned that these are not reviews. Of course not. I mean, I'm not talking about individual discs in detail. I'm really just talking about what's in the collection. And, it's a review of a different kind, as I pointed out. Then we have the Missa in D. I'm not sure which one this is. This is super fun. And Responsoria pro Hebdomada Sancta for Holy Week. Sponsories. And, oh my, there's lots more here. Oh, yes, his Oratorio, Jesu al Calvario. Well, we know what that means, don't we? He wrote 3 oratorios. I think there are 3 of them. One of them is The Penitence at the Sepulchre of the Redeemer, which is a laugh riot, as you can imagine. I think that's in here too. And then there's the Il Diamante, which is really strange. It has to do with like diamonds and snakes and things. And then there's Jesus at Calvary, a wonderful piece. I don't think this has been recorded by anyone else. This is on Capriccio, led by Herman Max. So that was kind of like, getting that was kind of cool. And I said, oh my, these larger works. Let me put these away. Oh, this is so exciting. Then we have the last of his Missae Ultimae. He planned a group of 6 last masses at the end of his life. Needless to say, he didn't finish them. And they're really quite wonderful. This is the Missa Omnium Sanctorum, the Mass of All Saints. It's a big piece. It's like a zillion minutes long here. And this is with Frieder Bernius on Sony. I have like an extra one. So this was issued like different ways. Now he's on Karus. I wonder if this was reissued on Karus. I don't remember. But there it is. This is the spare copy that I put in here. And I sometimes got spare copies of things because, it's the classical music business. You never know when things are going to disappear forever. And then we've got, this is a wonderful disc. This is a disc on some label that I don't even know if it exists anymore. Ramklang. Yes, it was called Ramklang. It was Hasse, who was the major composer in Dresden, the great opera seria composer, married to Faustina Bordoni. And we have his Missa Dei Filii, which I adore. That's a Lutheran mass, actually. It's just a Kyrie and a Gloria. And the Miserere in C minor by Hasse. It's really cool. And then we have the complete Responsoria for Holy Week. And this is on MDG with the Capella Montana under Ludwig Gostner. I mean, we've never heard of these people. We'd probably be very sniffy about it. Say, what do you mean you don't know who we are? Well, no, I have no clue who they are. Then we've got big deals. The orchestral works. Oh, did this make an impression? The 5 capriccios, the piece called Hypochondriac. I mean, Hypochondriac in 7 parts or something. It sounds like a Baroque tango. And the insane horn writing in the capriccios. Oh, this is just wonderful. This is with Camerata Bern under Thomas Fury. This was just such an amazing, amazing thing with wonderful soloists. We had Heinz Holliger, Barry Tuckwell, like Christine Jacotet. These are just fabulous. Jacotet, whatever her name was. Then we've got more of the trio sonatas, which you must have. And, his Festa Teatrale. It's basically an opera. Sub Olia Pacis et Palma Virtutis. It's actually even longer than that. A Palma Virtutis Conspicua Orbi Regia Bohemiae Corona. the melodrama de Sancto Venceslau. Yeah, wow, that's a mouthful. It means, under the olive tree of peace and the palm tree of virtue, the crown of Bohemia splendidly shines before the whole world. Now, if you think that's going to be exciting, you're right. It is. It's thrilling. I mean, it's one of those, moral, sort of allegorical thing for a royal coronation piece, right? But the music is Zelenka. It's outrageously cool. So that's super fun. And what else have we got here? We're still doing, oh wow. Yeah, look at this. There's a lot. We've got Lamentations for Holy Week, Confitabor, Laudati Pueri, and 3 Capriccios with Ludwig Gutler. This is on Berlin Classics. Then we've got more of the trio sonatas. You can't get enough recordings of these trio sonatas. The big ones were Heinz Holliger. He did them twice, once as part of that archive series, and then again as for ECM, and they are amazing. Oh, we're having some cats behind the computer now. Finster, come on. Okay, anyway. And then we've got an excerpt of orchestral pieces that were issued on Deutsche Grammophon. And here is the Penitence at the Sepulchre of the Redeemer, which is just, the penitents. It's like biblical characters, right? It's Mary Magdalene, King David, and St. Peter hanging out at the sepulchre of Jesus and talking about salvation and other fun things. It's terrific. So you put those away. And let's see if we're done with Zelenka. Are we done with Zelenka? Oh, look, I found more Zemlinsky. Okay. So that's that always happens with these things. What is this? Oh, okay. All right. So I have to put this back with the Zemlinsky stuff. This is a Florentine tragedy in the Riccardo Chailly performance, along with Alma Mahler Lieder, orchestrated by Colin and David Matthews, because Zemlinsky, as you may recall, was Alma's teacher, and they had an affair or something. She had an affair with everybody. All right, so that's that. That is Zelenka. So tune in for our next episode. Keep on listening, friends. Thank you for joining me. Take care.